Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're back in the Mazda MX-5 on iRacing for a track dive, this time at VIR North Course. This track is awesome to drive because you have to always balance the rear through the elevation changes in the latter part of the lap. For those who are new here, I show a fast lap first and then do a guided lap afterwards, explaining all of my references to help you go faster. If you're only interested in the guided lap, I'll leave timestamps in the description below so you can skip to the specific part you want. These were the session settings in the UI, and the track conditions are shown here. Feel free to pause the video to see a specific setting. Let's get into it. But before we start, I'd really appreciate it if you all subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you! So for turn 1, I brake just after the 2 board and turn in at the final Michelin board on the left. I use first gear and my peak brake pressure is around 85%. Once I begin to turn in, I decrease the brake very quickly to induce some understeer, as it's very easy to lose the rear on entry here. I take a late apex to prepare the exit and you can get back on throttle just before the curb. You can use all of the green and yellow part of the curb, and I keep the car tight to the right side of the track to shorten the distance to the next corner. Here I brake at the change in colour in the tarmac. I use second gear and you can take all of the curb on the inside. I use the throttle through the corner to keep the rear stable, and on the exit you can use all of the Astro. Here I don't use enough track on the entry and I also take too much curb on the inside, which makes me lose the rear, compromising my exit. There's definitely at least another 1 to 2 tenths here for me, if I didn't make these mistakes. Going into this corner, there's a shiny line that appears. I brake around a car's length after it and my peak brake pressure is around 85%. I trail off very quickly and use first gear for rotation. I use a slight bit of throttle to keep the rear stable and cut all of the inside curb. I keep the car to the left to prepare the exit and lift over the second curb to not lose the rear. From here on out it should be flat and you can sometimes get a 1x or even a slowdown going over the second curb, so don't take too much of it. I turn at the end of the curb on the left and use all of the curbs here to shorten the distance to the next corner. You need to be very careful on cold tyres here as it's very easy to lose the car. Here I don't really have a clear marker, so if you have one please let me know in the comments, as I'm really struggling with consistency here. I use second gear and downshift very quickly to use the engine braking to slow the car down. I troll brake to the apex to carry more speed. I apex at the top of the crest. This is also where I begin to come back on throttle. I open up the steering at the end of the curb to not scrub any more speed, and on the exit you can use all of the grey part of the track on the left without getting an off track. For this blind left-hander I turn in at the end of the tarmac on the right. I lift slightly to get the car turned in and use all of the curb on the left. This should make the next right-hander flat, just make sure you don't hit the sausage curb on the inside. Again, it's very sketchy on cold tyres through here, so be careful in the first few laps. So for the final hairpin, This will be one of the main opportunities to overtake on the track, so make sure you're aware of that when you're defending from someone. I brake at the changing colour in the tarmac on the left and use first gear. My peak brake pressure is around 75% and I use all of the curb up to the green and yellow part on the inside. You can carry a lot more speed than you'd think due to just how wide the exit is. I get back on throttle gradually just before the curb to keep the rear stable, and on the exit you want to allow the car back out to the right hand side of the track to prepare for the final corner. For the initial left-hander here, I turn in at the curb on the right and lift early to keep the car stable before I brake. I keep the car in third gear and cut all of the first curb, braking to 50% and getting straight off again to get the car to turn in. I get back on throttle at the curb on the right and cut all of it. The rest should be flat from here as long as you get the line right and don't understeer. I get as close to the third curb as possible before bringing the car back over to the right to shorten the distance to the finish. So that was a lap of VIR North course. That final corner is honestly one of the most difficult corners on the MX-5 calendar for me to learn. The thing that helped me the most was trying to get a good exit and not worrying about trying to carry tons of speed into the corner, as this is when I would understeer into oblivion. This was by no means a perfect lap, as there were definitely a few mistakes. I'm sure we'll see others dip into the high 35s. If you found this guide helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. You can also now become a channel member if you so wish. And I'll leave you the third person lap to the end of the video.